Going forward, that's it. We're underway in the opening division of the ITBA sponsored 4-year-old maiden as they head away. Miss Zachary, prominent early on, the still runner with previous experience in the lineup, being chased towards the outside by Annabelle Park. They in turn have been followed by Double Annie. Kells Bay is just in behind these in the green and black checks, and they're being chased next to the field by Elise Annabelle, what the black jacket down the inside. Out a little wider to find Queenswood, who's racing just ahead of the blue jacket of Final Verdict, and the overback marker in the familiar JP McManus colours is My Lifelong Friend. So as they make their way round into the back straight, on their way towards fences 1, 2 and 3 on this part of the course, and out front, Annabelle Park from Miss Zachary towards the inside. They in turn will be followed back in third by Kells Bay, with just in behind these Double Annie as they rise at the first. Being followed further back by Elise Jacqueline, with next up and behind these then Queenswood, and towards the rear end of mid-division at this point races the grey, that's Final Verdict, and the overback marker is Lifelong Friend. Out over number 2 they go, and make their way on now towards number 3, the fence up the top end of the back straight, and with the advantage it is Annabelle Park from Miss Zachary in second spot. Just in behind these in third then races Kells Bay, and they're being followed over by Elise Jacqueline, with Double Annie, navy and red colours towards the outside and racing in 5th position. Further back and behind these then to find the blue jacket of Final Verdict has the yellow colours of Queenswood towards the outside, and the overback marker in green and gold is Lifelong Friend. Turning at the top of the track, beginning to race left-handed and race downhill into the home straight, where fences 4 and 5 await them. And out front, Annabelle Park has the lead, being chased in the second spot by Miss Zachary. Kells Bay is in third, and they're being followed next in the field as they make their way on towards their next fence by Double Annie in company with Elise Jacqueline. Queenswood is just behind them. They're being followed next in the field by the grey, which is Final Verdict, and then Lifelong Friend. Out over number 4 they skip, and all the 8 that set out remain standing as they race towards fence number 5. Comes up quicker than in previous years. And out front, Annabelle Park, Miss Zachary for second. They've been followed back in third by Elise Jacqueline down the inside. Kells Bay spotting yellow cap towards the outside. They're being followed next in the field by Double Annie with Final Verdict towards that one's inside. Queenswood is just in behind these, and the overback marker is Lifelong Friend. Heading out in their second circuit, they're racing downhill into the back straight, where fences 6, 7 and 8 await them, and out front it is Annabelle Park. Alan Harney shows the way by 2 lengths to the second running Miss Zachary and Barry O'Neill. Third position in behind these for Elise Jacqueline and Jack Hendry. Further back up then comes Kells Bay and Shane O'Rourke, being followed next in the field by Final Verdict and Rob James. Next up and behind them as they go out over that one races Double Annie and Luke Murphy, being followed by Queenswood and Jamie Scallon, and last of all at this point is Lifelong Friend and Derek O'Connor. Little fence of 3 down on the back straight, and over in front it was Annabelle Park who led them over, being followed in second spot by, that's Miss Zachary. Third and behind these then races Elise Jacqueline, and they're being followed next to the field by Kells Bay as they rise at the next one at the end of the back straight. Behind Kells Bay at this point races Queenswood in company with Final Verdict. The one that's past one towards the rear of the field there is Lifelong Friend. He has relegated Double Annie to the overback marker. So turning back towards the home straight, they have another 8 fences to a left feet jumped, and out front with the advantage it is Annabelle Park, who still holds the lead under Alan Harney, being chased in second spot by Miss Zachary. They're being followed back in third by Kells Bay with Elise Jacqueline and Final Verdict, and further back and behind them to Queenswood, who's been chased next in the field by Lifelong Friend, and last of all Double Annie, but she still remains very much in touch. Here's the fence that will be visible for one of the circuit's time, and over in front it was Annabelle Park, who still continues to bowl along the lead under Alan Harney, being followed over in second by Miss Zachary. Elise Jacqueline out-jumped the second running Miss Zachary there. They're being followed next to the field by Kells Bay who's been followed next to the field by Final Verdict. Queenswood is just in behind these, then Lifelong Friend away from Double Annie, beginning to get attached to the rear of the field. Making their way downhill, Shorty's going to turn left-handed, racing to the back straight for the final time in the Division 1, the ITBA sponsored 4-year-old mares Maiden. And out front with the advantage, it is Annabelle Park, being followed in the second spot by Miss Zachary. Kells Bay in the third is the expensive Elise Jacqueline. They're being followed next to the field by Queen's Wood, who's been chased by Final Verdict as they go out over the fifth last fence. Then Lifelong Friend Double Annie is going to call it a day before jumping the fifth last fence. Racing on their way now towards their fourth last fence, and out front, over in front, Annabelle Park from the second running Elise Jacqueline is going into second. They're then being followed by Queen's Wood, and right in behind these then is Miss Zachary, being chased next in the field by Kells Bay. Final Verdict comes next, and then Lifelong Friend. Here's the third last. And over in front with the advantage, it was Annabelle Park who touched down with the lead, being chased towards the outside by Kells Bay. They've been followed back in third by Queen's Wood, then Miss Zachary. Further back then to Elise Jacqueline, and then Final Verdict, who is staying on to some effect. They're being followed by My Lifelong Friend. Rounding the end now at the top of the track, they have two fences left to jump when they straighten up. And out front with the advantage, Annabelle Park from Kells Bay, who looks the big danger towards the outside. Final Verdict is flat to the boards in third. They're being followed by Queen's Wood, and then in behind these then races Elise Jacqueline, then Lifelong Friend and Miss Zachary. Racing on towards the wings of the second last, and it's Kells Bay is coming to the second last with a narrow advantage and is safely out over from back in second spot. Races Annabelle Park, then Final Verdict, but towards the final one goes Kells Bay with the advantage of a couple to Annabelle Park in second. Over the last goes Kells Bay. She was a bit untidy out over, but she has the advantage by 3 or 4 lengths, and on the run up towards the line is going to be Kells Bay, another one for Shane O'Rourke and Gary Murphy this season. Tight second and third between the fast finishing Final Verdict and on the near side, Annabelle Park the far side. They're being followed in by Queen's Wood, then came Elise Jacqueline, and then Lifelong Friend putting up before the second last was Miss Zachary.